Rich Rod has his doubters heading into 2025. Are you one of them? Am I one of them? Let's find out.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. This is Locked On West Virginia, baby. Well, we're talking about the Mountaineers again tonight. Thank you guys for joining in. I got to get this out of the way before anything else. I'm not going to quit trying to produce content, right? But my internet connection is wonky. I'm not going to lie. I've got a service call coming out again. They're going to try to work on the wire. I don't know what that means. But if it goes out again, guys, I'm probably going to have to pre-record videos for a few days and then just put them up. That way I don't have to worry about this. So this will be the last live video probably for a couple days until they come and fix it. So if you're watching this on X, I can't live stream to X, right? If I'm pre-recording videos. And this is something I need to do anyway, is move away from X a little bit. I'll still engage with you guys on X. It'll just be separate from YouTube. It's a long story. I don't want to get into all of it now, but I just wanted to preface it with that so that you're not disappointed if something happens, because I'm already kind of expecting it, right? So let's get to what I wanted to do, though. Obviously, thank you guys for joining in, by the way. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, and for being part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team every single day. This one's going to be brought to you by Game Time, guys. And like we always say, when it comes to Game Time, they do it big. And listen, if you just go to Game Time, create an account, and use code Locked On College, you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. All right. So let's get to this right off the bat here, man. As we know, the Mountaineers play a pretty tough schedule in 2025, don't they? Is it as tough as it's been under the Neil Brown regime? I don't know that I would say that either, you know? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over every team that we play. And I got some notes that I made on each team. I spent the day today kind of doing a little bit of a deep dive on each team, watching videos, that kind of thing. I think I got through every single team. I spent probably 20, 30 minutes on every team. It's not like I did a ton, but I'm so hyper-focused on West Virginia, I honestly, outside of the major characters, don't know a ton about the rest of the teams. So if this goes out, guys, it'll come back on. It just might take 60 seconds. So if you don't care to wait around for 60 seconds, it's hanging on one. It's got one bar. So I don't know if I don't know what's going to happen here. Obviously, Robert Morris is up first. I've got somebody coming on for Robert Morris. I don't know anything about them. I know they have a really good running back that's coming back this coming year. And he's really good. He actually reminds me of probably the kid from Pitt, or he's got a little Jaheim White in him. He's a good player. I was watching his film today. I was actually surprised he didn't get plucked away from Robert Morris. That's how good he is. He's undersized, one of those kind of guys. He's a senior, so we're not going to have a chance to pluck him, but he's a good player. But obviously, the first game is the only game I'm confident in 100%, and that's a win for West Virginia. I'm going to say 56-14 here. I think that West Virginia holds them under 14 most of the game, but they'll probably score some garbage points, right? Make Paul's internet great again. That's right, Silas. It was good there for months, man, but unfortunately, technology, man, when you have to depend on it, it sucks. See, if I pre-record the videos, if something happens, I can just edit it out, right? So that might be what I have to do here for a few days until I can't get the service call till Thursday, unfortunately. All right, so then we have Ohio University. They got a ton of transfers, but they've got continuity within the coaching staff. The coach that replaces their head coach, they did lose their head coach, but he's been on staff there for years. This is a team that's won and a program that's won 3 straight double-digit winning seasons, guys. They're basically having our Pat White era right now. That's what they're in, right? So they're having just an incredible incredible run. Obviously, it's going to be a weird one. We had two Ohio University. I've been in that stadium before. I've watched games there before. It's like going to a high school game. It's like if you've ever been to like a really big high school stadium, it's like that, right? It's almost like the one there in Charleston in some ways. It's like, or like where the minor league team and baseball team there played in Charleston for a little while. It's kind of like that. Um, this can be a trip up game, I think. A lot of people think that it won't be. I just need to know. I need to see Ohio University play that first game before I really figure out what I know about them and what I don't know. But for now, I have to just go with a win. And I think we're going to win the game. Even if they're good, I think we still win the game. But on the road is wonky, and it's 25,000 people. It's not a huge stadium, but it's going to be sold out. It's going to be loud for the size of the stadium. It's a weird stadium. The opposing side is not. It's literally high school size. There's not a lot of room for people over there. So, but it's a beautiful place. Athens is a party school. If you guys didn't know, West Virginia and Athens finished like second and third, or sometimes first and second in party schools for years with Arizona State. So, like we were there. Athens is a major party spot, and of course, I would know that. Number 3, obviously, we finally get to the Pitt Panthers. I've got a guy set up to do a preview on the Panthers as well. Obviously, we know a little bit about them. They had an incredible start to the year last year where they just won a bunch of really close games. Started out 7-0, then they lost 6. Just a weird season for them. Obviously, the health of Eli Holstein is going to be a huge factor for them. This is a tough one here, man. On paper, Pitt's the favorite on paper. But I'll be damned if I pick West Virginia to lose that game. Unless we're just beat the hell up already or something crazy, like we're on our 4th quarterback or 5th quarterback going into that game, I'm going to probably stick with West Virginia. I just don't see Rich Rod. We're going to be kicking it in the high gear by the time that 3rd game comes around. You know what I'm saying, boys? Come on, what's that, boys? So I think we stomp that Pittsburgh ass and we move on to Kansas. This is going to be an awesome game. I think the game day is probably going to be there, and hopefully, because we need them to be, right. This would be one of the better games of the year, possibly. It's got a chance to be for us. So we'll keep an eye on that, obviously. Now Kansas. Obviously, they've got Trey Lathan. I'm not happy about that. Jalen Daniels is back again. I mean, it's just like, what is it with Kansas? He's the new Perry Ellis for Kansas. That's what this is. He's the new Perry Ellis for Kansas. Jalen Daniels is back. He's got almost 7,000 career passing yards and 1,400 rushing yards. He makes all the difference for the Jayhawks. They've got Bryce Foster, who's one of the best centers in the country. Dean Miller, very good edge rusher. Trey Lathan, we know about him. They've got Cam Pickett, who's a really good receiver, and DJ Withers, who's one of the best interior linemen in the conference. This is another West Virginia W, although it could easily be a loss on the road at Kansas. I've wanted to pick this as a loss so many different times. Every time I look at it, I'm back and forth on it. I think, preseason, it's a win. We'll see what happens after the first few games. This is always, all these are subject to change for now. So we're at 3-0. We're at 4-0 heading into Utah. We got the Utes at home. Guys, can I just say, Utah, they brought in Dampier, who is an absolute stud rushing the ball. Obviously, 1,100 yards, 19 touchdowns on the ground. They've got Spencer Fano, one of the best tackles in all of college football. Lander Barton is a ridiculous linebacker. Logan Fano, obviously on the edge, is a very good defensive lineman. Smith Snowden is a very good junior, ready for a breakout year. And Wayshawn Parker, the transfer, man, is a really good kid, really good player, really good after contact with yards on the ground. I like West Virginia here. Utah hasn't proven to me they deserve. What? Is my mic turned off? It shouldn't be. Can everybody hear me? Can everybody hear me? I need to know. Let me know in the comments because okay. I don't know why Curtis said that. But I like West Virginia against Utah until proven otherwise. I don't think, I'm just not sold on the Utes yet. Now, maybe a couple games into the year, that'll change. But for now, no. This thing's been hanging. It says my connection's unstable now. So I don't know what that means. That may not be good. We'll see what happens here. Let's go to break really quick. That way I can at least get one ad break in. And then we'll come back. We'll finish the rest of this thing up. We'll be right back. And then also I'm going to pick player of the year. I'm going to pick most overrated, most underrated, that kind of stuff. We'll be right back. This is Locked On West Virginia. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by Drip Drop. If you're trying to stay on top of your routine, then whether that's workouts, long delays on campus, or staying focused through back-to-back classes, hydration is where that's going to start at, and it's where Drip Drop comes in. When I'm on top of my hydration, I notice everything works better. My energy, my mood, my focus, my skin. Getting enough fluids every day isn't always easy, though, and I've been loving my Drip Drop. 7 o'clock on the dot, I've got my Drip Drop, right? We know we always love about that Drip Drop. What I love a few different flavors, man. I love them all, honestly, but I love the grape flavor. It's really tasty. It's the one that I like the most, and I use it every day right now until I run out. So it's a good flavor, guys. You should check Drip Drop out. It's really good. Right now, Drip Drop's offering a Locked On listeners special, 20% off your first order. Head to dripdrop.com and use promo code Locked On College. It's segment 2. Let's crack open this dew, baby. For those of you offering me some advice about the router and stuff in the comments, let me just explain the situation real quick. So it's something to do with my line coming into my house. So because they have analytics they can look at on the computer, whenever you call in, and they can tell where issues are coming from, right? And it's not my box. Boxers are acting fine. Modem's fine. The little plume box that they give you is fine. It's the line coming into my house, something to do with the ground line, which is probably why the guy came and said he fixed it the other day when he didn't. He literally he was there for 5 seconds. He screwed something off and said, "Oh, yeah, it was this thing." I don't believe it. It could be a squirrel, yeah. Very well could be. All right, so let's get back to this schedule, man. Obviously West Virginia's got to lose some games. I think that comes on the road at BYU. I am a believer in BYU, and yes, I did go down there. And yes, I think they are a really good football team, no doubt about it. But I just think that I like Sataki and crew in this game. On the road, West Virginia is going to be beat up. If you look at the way the schedule's set up too, I mean, it's going to be rough, man. It's going to be rough. Now, here's another thing. It's going to be right before the bye. So, I think this is a very, very good spot for West Virginia to get a break, and a probably much needed break going to the UCF. Hopefully we've got a bad UCF team at this point in time and not a good one. Well, who knows? Because they could be a good team this year as well. You never know, right? In this day and age, you just don't know who's going to be good year to year. But coming off the bye week, I've got West Virginia winning at UCF. I've got West Virginia. The more I studied up on TCU, and let me backtrack a little bit here, because all that work I did earlier, I mean, at least let me talk about it, right? BYU, obviously, in a quarterback race, it's wide open. They've got a really physical O-line. They've got really good linebackers, maybe the best duo of linebackers in the country, honest to God. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. We'll definitely Jack Kelly's dynamite, obviously 10 plus TFLs, ton of sacks. Glasgow is the other running back beside him. He's got 21 and a half combined TFLs. You've got LJ Martin, one of the most physical running backs in all college football. You got Chase Roberts, one of the most reliable senior targets in all of the Big 12. Then you got Tanuvasa, a transfer. He's got 300 pounds of muscle, guys. This kid is a monster defensive lineman that's nothing but a run stopping machine. If you go look at what he did before he got to BYU. And then Bryce Foster, obviously at center, one of the best centers in the conference as well. So they're a good football team, guys. I would definitely be surprised if West Virginia doesn't lose one of these games here on the, on either Utah, BYU, or Kansas, if not possibly two of them. But I'm only going to pick them to lose one preseason. Once we get into the season and get eyeballs on our team, and I get because preseason it's just hard to tell. But like based on my tape study in the offseason, I really feel like West Virginia's got a lot better players than we ever had anytime in the last 6 years under Neil Brown. But that doesn't mean necessarily that we're going to be good in year one, right? So it's going to be interesting. Then we got UCF, right? And what they're doing right now is interesting. They've got their version of Rich Rod back at head coach and Scott Frost. So he's going to be all about speed, guys. He's very similar to Rich Rod in that. Taven Jackson is a dual threat quarterback that can play. Jaden Nixon is not as good as Harvey, obviously, running back, but I do think he's a good player. How can you replace a guy like Harvey? Nigel Kelly is a edge rusher that can really go. Kelly Lawson is one of their best transfers. Jaden Bellamy is a corner that is really good. He's solid. And then Dylan Wade might be one of the best tight ends in all of the Big 12, in my opinion. I love Dylan Wade, man. I went and looked him up today. I was like, holy cow, how'd they get that guy? Well, he was one of the best transfers out there. So, yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on the UCF people and see how they come along. Then TCU, right? So right now, West Virginia's if this is what happens, obviously it's a dream year, right? You've already beaten Pitt, you've already beaten Kansas and Utah, and you've got one loss heading into UCF, right? So that would make you 5-1 heading into UCF. 6-1. I think you win that game. TCU, I've got a loss. I think TCU is going to be better than people think. I don't have them winning the league, but I do think that they're a team that can beat West Virginia. At home, it's going to be, I'd like to pick us to win every home game, but you're going to lose one home game somewhere along the lines. It's not like, we're the best team in the conference. And I don't want to be that big of a homer. So I think TCU probably is where we slip up and get that second loss. And if you look at TCU, like, guys, they have a ton of talent. I mean, they really do. Sonny Dykes has been there a minute. I think this is one of the best teams he's had, even though a lot of people are unsure of what they've got going on. Josh Huber is elite. I think he could be the best quarterback in the league. I really do. Last year, he had 3,900 yards, 27 touchdowns, and he threw it for 67% completion percentage. If you got a quarterback in this league, you got a chance. And I think they had the best passing quarterback in the league. I think Josh Hoover's got first-round talent written all over him, man. Eric McAllister averages 20 yards per catch. I mean, they are going to be really good on offense. I just think everybody's overlooking them, to be honest. I really do. Nnamdi Abiazor is a ridiculously good, talented tackler. Bud Clark in the secondary, another guy that you look at and say, how the hell did they get him? Their secondary is loaded. On the edge, they got Davion Deal, who led them in sacks last year, coming back. And then they got Cade Bennett, who is an NFL player on the O-line. TCU massively underrated, in my opinion. Massively underrated. And I think that comes to fruition this upcoming season. Then you got Houston. I will never pick Houston to beat West Virginia. I don't care what happened on the Hail Mary, but my coworker Parker Ainsworth over at Locked On Cougs, I will never give him the satisfaction, but I think West Virginia beats them. So that makes you 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, 5-1, 6-1, 6-2, 7-2. Going into Colorado is interesting at 7-2, right? Wouldn't that be a dream scenario for West Virginia? Heading into Colorado at 7-2. That would be fun, right? Deion's going to have those boys emotional. It's his last year coaching, most likely. And even I am rooting for Deion now, especially now that guys, can you imagine the pain he lives with, having his entire bladder removed, living with cancer like that? Just, I hate that for anybody, you know? Don't wish it on anybody. Wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Um, and certainly, Coach Prime is definitely no stranger to that. Caden Salter was the quarterback I wanted us to get out of the portal. Just keeping it real. Caden Salter is that dude, man. He really is. I think Caden Salter is. I wouldn't be shocked if he was the offensive player of the year in the Big 12. He had a career 4,700 yards, 1,800 rushing yards, and 66 touchdowns in 2 years, guys. Joseph Williams is an elite transfer wide receiver. They've got Samuel Unkalola, who's got 14 and a half combined TFLs. Reginald Hughes, what a great transfer he is. Everybody they got's 4 and 5 star. It's just what it is. Tracius Davis is a ball hawk, man. And then Dallin Hayden is probably going to be their lead back and a really good one. He's another guy that's a 4 and 5 star type player. Here's the thing about Colorado. They could, because they got so much talent, by the time you get to week 9 or 10 here, they could really gel. And I think West Virginia is going to lose a game at some point that they shouldn't lose. And I think it's going to be Colorado here. So I think West Virginia is 7-3 here. Then you travel to Arizona State, 7-4. I just have us losing that game. Arizona State's too good, man. They return everything, right? They were a playoff team last year. And they have the best young coach in college football, in my opinion. I just love that guy. They lost Cam Scadaboo, obviously. They had a great surge last year. Sam Levitt is, you've got to rank him. It's tough, right, between him and a couple guys, but I wouldn't be shocked if he was the best quarterback in the league. He was third nationally in QBR last year. Excellent scrambler, no turnover risk. Jordan Tyson's the leading receiver. He's back. CJ Fight is a massive 310-pound defensive tackle. Elijah O'Neal is this disruptive edge. It's back on defensive end. Keith Abney had 3 picks last year, multiple pass breakups. And then Miles Rouser is back. And they've got a deep, experienced front seven. They're good again, guys, and they should probably be the favorites. I don't know why people keep picking against them, but might be. I mean, if I was them, I'd feel disrespected because they returned almost everybody and the quarterback. They're going to be good again. So that's just my personal opinion. That's just my personal opinion. But yes, it sucks to get the back-to-back losses, right? Unfortunately, but and it would actually be 3 in 4 games, wouldn't it? But here's my thought process on this. I think we don't have a ton of depth. I think if we're not injured by this time of the year, then I'll be surprised. I think we're going to be pretty hurt come down the stretch. We just don't have a ton of depth. Well, that's why we're bringing in guys right now in the portal still, right? Because we need the depth. That's still a great year because I've got us beating Texas Tech in the last game. I'm just going to keep it real, man. I do. Let's go to break. Well, I'll give you the skinny on Texas Tech really quick. Obviously, Baron Morton, a quarterback. Caleb Douglas is a big play receiver. He had 700 yards last year. Jacoby Williams is an emerging sophomore running back. A.J. Holmes Jr. is a really big disruptor. Guys that could have went anywhere in the country. Obviously, they spent $60 million. It's the most in the college football which is why they got David Bailey, the best pass rusher in the country out of Stanford. They've got Cole Wisniewski, who is just an incredible ball hawking safety, 21 passes defended, and they've just got a mega transfer class. I don't think it all comes together, but the thing is we face them last, so maybe they're all the way right by the time we play them. Time will tell, but I think West Virginia 8-4 is a fair record prediction in year one for Rich Rod, and who knows, maybe you're within a game or two of actually playing for a Big 12 title, right? So this is a dream scenario, in my opinion. I don't think much higher than this in year one is possible based on our depth. I think our starting players are really good. I just don't know about our depth. We'll have to see how it plays out. Let's go to break. We'll come back, and I'll give you my superlatives. Who is the most underrated? Who is the most overrated, etc. We'll be right back. This is Locked On West Virginia. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by Game Time, y'all. And we talk about Game Time on this show all the time because it's time for game time, obviously. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day, and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. Well, that's exactly where Game Day comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stresses of ticket shopping. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Game Time is going to make that possible, guys. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop closer to the first pitch, and they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that'll absolutely smack your stonker. That takes the worry out of buying, guys. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. The terms are going to apply here, but create that account and redeem the code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off today. And download the Game Time app where you can get last-minute tickets for the lowest price, and that's guaranteed. And you'll answer yourself the question of all questions. What time is it? It's game time. Yeah, I said it. Smack your stonker. I don't even know what that means, but it sounded cool. Smack your stonker. Put it on a shirt. I don't care. All right, so let's change gears really quick since my connections picked back up to full speed. Something I wanted to show you guys from earlier that West Virginia football posted. As you know, I've been sleuthing around. Again. You don't every single frame on this thing, buddy. So let's go back to the beginning. Let's see. Hold on, let me get the roster pulled up here. This is always a fun pastime for us, isn't it? So for those of you listening on audio right now, what I'm doing is I am going over a video that the Mountaineers released earlier, and then I'm just looking at jersey numbers to see who's playing where and when. Obviously, this is Gerard Bowie right here. Not a big shock that he's on the video. And then in the background, you've got number 16, who is that's Ty Crutcher in the background. So let's go. Ben Cutter. Okay, there's the offensive line. Same two guys as before. You've got Tykees Crawford and Kimo Makaniole and Landon Livingston over here. Next frame, you've got on the left side, that's Nick Cray on the left side. So the same offensive lineman in the second scrimmage. The only one we don't get is the left guard, and that's probably Young Bear. So if you look at 2, 4, and 6 right here, so obviously number 6 is Jordan Scruggs, and number 24 is Darren Lewis. And let me just say, guys, Darren Lewis is all over this film, all over it. Who have I told you guys all offseason? One of my guys is Darren Lewis. But there's another guy on here that really shows up that's one of my guys too, and that's Jordan Walker. We're going to watch it. So who is that? That's Darren Lewis, number 2-4 again. There's number 2, Devontae Golden Nelson. Interesting. Here comes Jacklich, guys, the big new running back. Check out this run he did all the way to the house on a handoff from Scotty Fox Jr. Let me turn that music off. Look at freaking Cam Vaughn. Are you kidding me? Hurdling right over Keyshawn Robinson. So that's interesting. Now you got 22 and 35. So 22 is Mike Hasty. There's Nico throwing a ball. There's Scotty Fox throwing that thing right there, buddy. Look at the mechanics on Scotty Fox right here, man. Beautiful looking throw. And that is number 25. That's Armoni Weaver. So and he's getting the best of Ashton Woods right here on that play. On the defensive line, if you look over, you see, I honestly have no clue who number 87 is. It looks like, or number 97 maybe. Is that Adam Tomczyk? Yep, maybe that's not 87. That one's kind of got me baffled. I don't see an 87 on the roster here. You know what? I bet maybe it's that new guy that just got here. Very well could be the new guy. Only thing I can think of. They may not have him on the official roster yet. But anyways, Armoni Weaver, which is one of the guys we keep hearing a lot about, that's going to play. Watch the movie puts on Ashton Woods here. He's a quick little firecracker, right? And then boom, there he is, Jordan Walker, who I told you I think is going to be the starting safety for West Virginia. I have no inside knowledge of that, but I do believe that. I think he will be one of the starting safeties. And there's Jordan Walker getting a pick right there. And if you look it's hard to tell who was going for the pass there. Is that a 5? It's hard to tell, man. That's, you know who that is, I think. We're trying too hard here. It's just too hard to tell who that is. I don't want to try to, but we can tell who that is. Number 5, we know that's Jaden Bray, right? So probably was, that was Jaden Bray or Fred Perry, one of the two, but it's got to be Jaden Bray because he's in white. So, yeah. I know, Craig. I know you guys are like, some people are like, what the hell is this internet sleuth doing here? There's Jacklich again running that up in there. There's Dior Hubbard. What am I thinking? Goodness gracious, I had a somebody help me. Yeah, Lee, man, I'm having brain farts over here. Oh gosh, I'll tell you, man. All right. Let's let me get back over here. Goodness gracious, man. How did I forget his name all of a sudden? I know who it is, Khalil Wilkins. Good gracious, man. You think I would know that? Oh God, it's 10:30. I'm getting tired. All right, jersey number. Back to the jersey number. All right. So Khalil Wilkins. Then you got Nico. And I tried to look who this was, like rolling on the ground. It's just too hard to tell what number that is. Trying to see. This is how you know you're a sicko, guys. Like, there's Kikor Tarnu, number 14. There's okay, so we get a clear picture of Jalen to Grayson, right? And then that's number 7 tackling him, which should be not Draw Boyd, but Israel Boyce. So, and then number 13 should be Derek Carter Jr. should be. Sometimes I have to go look, but so that's Boyce and Derek Carter Jr. playing together on this play. And then the catch by Preston Fox. Only Preston can do this. I mean, that's a catch too, boys. And look, I'm even so sick. I know it wasn't a left. I know it wasn't one of the right-handed quarterbacks that threw this. It's one of the left because look at the ball spin. Oh God, I'm sick in the head. So that's a left-handed quarterback that threw him that, which is likely. It was probably Jalen. This throw here is great, by the way. To Cam Vaughn, of course, and look who's on him. Darren Lloyd. Just saying, Darren Lloyd showed up a lot in there. So did Jordan Walker, 2 of my guys. Oh, God. Yeah, I know. I had a brain fart, James. So let's get into some superlatives real quick before we jump off here. Thank you guys for indulging me while we watch that video. For those of you listening, I know that was probably kind of torturous, but thank you. All right. So overall, I think, just a couple of predictions on players and teams, things like that. So most overrated team, I'm going to go Texas Tech. I think their transfer class is really hyped, but there's been no real progress under McGuire. And until they do that, I'm going to continue to doubt them, even though they've got a shot to be the best team in the league, no doubt about it. They do have a shot. Most underrated team is West Virginia, and I mean that. I'm not just saying that. I do believe that. I absolutely believe that. Josh, the last update we got on Jamori Robinson and company is I did an update on it the other day. So court should be this Tuesday. It is this Tuesday. We'll know more after this Tuesday, okay? So all right. Coach of the year, I'm going to give that to Kalani Sitake, man. I think he's going to navigate some uncertainty. They're going to have some defensive turnover, and I think they're still going to be right there in one of the best teams in the conference come the end of the year. He lost his quarterback. Can't be fun. And yes, I met the Sitakes, so maybe I'm being very, very biased. But I got to be honest, guys. BYU has turned into my second team in the Big 12. After how they treated me, how could I not be? I mean, they treated me good as gold, guys. They really did. I mean, I can't help but root for them now. And yeah, you're right. That is Ryan Ward. Apologies for my mistake. Grayson Barnes is 80. Still getting used to the numbers, guys. It's not like these guys have been around for 4 years, But thank you for the correction. Whoever said that. Thank you for the correction. All right. So breakout player of the year. This is tough because I want to pick a West Virginia player, but I think it's going to be Avery Johnson. I just think I've already got K-State winning the league. I think, Avery Johnson is an absolute stud. I do believe he would fit in Ertrod's offense better than K-State's, just a little. But, I love that kid. I think he's got a ton of talent. I think he reminds me of Colin Kaepernick in so many ways. Very dangerous. He runs 4.4. He can do it all. And K-State, man, they've got literally everybody back, man. And I'll tell you what a coach, man. Kleiman, what a great hire that's turned out to be. Breakout defensive player of the year. This is going to be a tough one, right? Because I honestly have, if Jamori Robinson if he gets out of this, I could see him being in this. I really could. If it's not Jamori, there's a bunch of dudes you could go with, man. And there's going to be somebody come out of nowhere. I don't think Coach Junior is going to do it. I could see somebody on the West Virginia pushing for it. Um, maybe Jack Kelly over at BYU would be a great one to pick. Obviously, his TFL and sack numbers. David Bailey at Texas Tech is another one you could pick. Something to look at. Offensive Player of the Year, I think, you know, I could see Nico or Jaheim pushing for this, but I don't think in year one. I have to see more before our offensive line and stuff. I just don't know, guys. I feel like our defense is going to keep us in games in some of these games. But I think Sawyer Robinson's probably a pretty good pick there. What a year he had last year for Baylor in those last few games. And then my sleeper team for the Big 12 title, I'm going with West Virginia. I think we can be a sleeper. I think that's a fair thing to say. Nobody can say we're not either, right? Nobody knows what's going to happen. And I have looked at this team up and down. I've watched every player's tape a billion times. And I'm just saying, I think we have enough talent to compete. We'll see. We'll see how good obviously my eyes are, but I do think we got a shot. So thank you guys for joining in. I'm going to go ahead and jump off here while we got lucky. We made it through a whole show without this thing kicking off. That's pretty cool. Maybe it was just a one-time thing earlier. I don't know, but I doubt it. Thank you guys for everything you do and being so supportive. You guys are sickos. It's almost 11 o'clock, and we got 400 people in here watching. So that's great. Thank you guys as well for that. And I'll be back tomorrow. Obviously, 7 days a week we try to do this. Until then, y'all, let's go Mountaineers, right? Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen and for being part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. Timothy's crazy. He said the only reason they treated me good because they wanted me to speak well for them, huh? They were good to me, man. Guys don't even know. Like, these people don't work for BYU that I was even around. They work for they're the tourism department in Utah. Like they have no connection to BYU at all. Like they had to call and I mean they have a connect. Like they're a sponsor at BYU. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like I went to BYU. Like I went to the tourist, like what's it called, Explore Utah Valley. So I mean they wanted me to promote the tourism in Utah, not necessarily BYU. So that's kind of not exactly right, Tim, but I see what you're trying to say. But I'm just telling you, everybody I met there was so nice. Like I do believe that the way they live, they have a very conservative lifestyle in Utah, where like my belief system as far as like the nuclear family and having two parents and that whole thing. Like I'm a big believer in that. Like I don't share my viewpoints on here often, but I do think that's why they had some pretty happy folks around there. Anyways, that we're getting way off base here. Thank you guys for joining in, and we will talk tomorrow. Also, might be having a couple special guests on this week. We'll have to see. A couple former players been reaching out. How would you guys feel? How would you guys like to hear from one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the program? How'd you like to hear from Skylar Howard? Would that make y'all excited? See where he's been, what he's been doing? Well, I might have a way into that. We'll let you guys update on that. I'll update you guys on that hopefully tomorrow or the next day. Until then, though, thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen. Check out Locked On Portal. Brian, he does a great job over there, as we say every day, with everything with recruiting and the portal and the whole nine. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm out.